Rich Tehrani with TMC here. We're at CTIA Las Vegas 2013. I'm speaking with Neil Cook. He's with Cloudmark. Neil, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Rich.
So tell me a little bit about Cloudmark, what you do.
Cloudmark's a messaging security company. We sell software to mobile operators and fixed line operators that stops abuse, spam, phishing, that kind of stuff going to subscribers.
That's a big deal because phishing attacks, spam, I mean, we're talking about multi-billion-dollar problems in terms of theft and time wasted, right? So it's a good space to be in.
That's right. It's a huge problem for subscribers. It's also a huge problem for operators as well. Any communication service provider is providing a lot of infrastructure to deliver bad stuff across their networks, and that costs them money.
Right, so they're actually using their network resources to propagate massive amounts of potentially malicious content that they want to curb.
That's right. So we help them stop that in their networks before it gets to subscribers.
Now your company had some news today. I'm curious if you could share that with the viewers.
Sure. We just came out with Cloudmark's security platform for broadband. This is a solution that stops bad traffic leaving mobile networks, broadband networks, and fixed line broadband networks, and stops those networks getting blacklisted. IP blacklisting is a big problem for those networks. When they're sending out spam to the internet, their IPs get blacklisted, which means that when their subscribers try to send out emails from their laptop or from their mobile phone, those emails can't go, and then subscribers have a lot of complaints, and there's a lot of problems sending emails. So we clean that up and stop their networks from getting blacklisted.
Now, is this a product that's not for carriers? Is it for enterprises, or am I misunderstanding how this works?
No, it's for operators. It's for anyone who runs a broadband network or web hosting providers as well. Web hosting providers provide virtual private servers, which effectively provide bulletproof spam hosting for people who are sending out spam. And what happens is the spam that gets sent out from broadband networks or web hosting providers actually pollutes the network address space, so that people who want to send legitimate email through those broadband networks can't send it. So if you're using AT&T's network or a Wi-Fi network or anything like that, and you want to send the messages and you can't send them, that's a big problem for you. So we help the operators, the providers of those broadband networks, to clean those networks up and keep them safe for their subscribers to send legitimate email.
Now you're speaking here at the show. I'm curious if you could tell us a little bit about your presentation.
Yeah, sure. I'm talking about the sort of unseen cost of mobile messaging spam and scams. So spam and scams that get sent over SMS primarily, also a little bit over MMS as well, and the cost to subscribers and the cost to the operators. And a lot of the time these costs aren't understood. So,
now how does Cloudmark position itself competitively in the space?
So we position ourselves as a direct vendor of software to operators. We have some competitors in the space, some of the big guys, some of the traditional security vendors like Symantec and Cisco and some of those big guys. So we're just a little guy competing against those, but we really have software that's much more targeted to operators than some of the big competitors. They're really much more focused on enterprise, whereas we are very much focused for communication service providers, tier 1s, tier 2s. We really understand their networks and how to solve the problems in their networks. Much more so than solutions which are really much more aimed at sort of small to medium to large enterprises.
Now, another question that comes to mind is just the return on investment. How do carriers determine what the return on investment will be in reducing the spam and associated, I'll just call it malware, garbage, things like that on their network, getting rid of all that?
Sure, so we help them with that. We have several models that we use to help them understand the cost of this in their business, and I'll be talking about some of those in my presentation this afternoon. But for example, a good example is mobile terminated charging. So when an operator sends a message to another operator, they get charged. And the idea is that they probably send about the same number of messages to each other, but if there's a lot of spam coming out of your network and it's not getting replied to because it's spam, then that costs you a lot of money as an operator to send those messages to another operator. If we can stop that spam, then we can save them a lot of money, and it can be anything from $10 to $15 million a year.
Thanks for your time.
No problem, thank you.